Okay, good afternoon, folks. Hope everyone is well. Karina, good morning to you. Armanas, how you doing? Okay. So, a little bit more volume than we've had of late overnight. I am looking at two charts at the moment. The one on the left is the CL or oil, 500 tick chart on oil. I'm looking at that as well, which I'll be trading one contract, and the S&P, depending on what that ATR is a little high at the moment. Once that ATR gets under 3, I'll go up to two contracts. So I'm just currently looking at one. So we've had we had a measured move and we came down some more. So that looks like a channel to me. We're looking for a couple of legs and then possibly a lower high or something like that. Anyway, how you doing, Daryl? I've just noticed these little, can anybody see these little crowns on here? I've got no idea where they're from. I'm assuming it's something to do with YouTube have put them on there for, I don't know, whatever reason. I'm not sure actually. First time I've noticed them. So market is open. Let's see how today turns out. Exponential, how you doing, pal? So we'll see how we get on today, but I'm guessing we got overnight highs here. Overnight lows. So we seem to be possibly bouncing, but it's just a bit early days at the moment. If we're in this channel, we've got two pushes up. So we need a push below that EMA and then a lower high, really. We've got some news coming up, crude oil news coming up, which I need to pay attention to on the left there, which is at 3:30. Been caught out in that before, so if I'm going to start trading this regular, I'm going to keep an eye on that. So, you know, also here, there's on the left chart as well, we've got this move up with a possible break. So whether there is a big channel up or not, or whether it's just this with a break, two pushes to a new high, whether this is something different, it's hard to say. So we'll keep an eye on the left as well. H, how you doing, mate? So, overnight lows here, so whether you consider it here or here, but we do seem to be finding something. So let's just have a look here. Got to be careful here because we've got a break. Two pushes to a new low. It may push up, so, or sorry, two pushes down. So keep an eye on this. Trouble is, once it gets below there, a lot of the times it doesn't pull back, it just continues down. Traders see this, and once this pushes down, if you're not already here, so a lot of times you miss out. So just have to be a bit careful here. So I'm still expecting a new low from here. Let me just get an order open just in case we get
Order
something
submitted.
that looks like it's got potential. That's no good for me. It needs to come a little bit tighter, a little bit further up, and then come bearish. Let me just check. There's no kind of sideways there. There is a possibility this thing could go a bit sideways. Which means it may come back up here before it comes down. So you've got to be careful getting in the middle. Whether it is that or not, I don't know, but it certainly could be. So I'm just being a little bit cautious here. We've got a bit of a bounce here, maybe a few times. We've got 1, 2, 3 times there. So I'm not saying it definitely is, but Kenny, how you doing, my friend? So just need to keep an eye on this. There is a possibility this may be going a bit sideways. Whether it is or not, I don't know, but all I'm doing is, rather than wait for a pullback and go short there, if this is sideways, it could come up and test this, because if we've actually sort of bounced at the possible bottom, it could trigger this bar and then push up. So I'm just being a bit cautious here. I don't want to jump straight into that trade there. No idea what price they're trying to do. No, so I've got this chart down, which doesn't look too bad to me. We've got a break, so I think there's a good chance we push down and make a new low, but I'm just being a bit cautious here in case we are going a little bit sideways. Now, this thing, if you look at the daily, it does look like we could get a pullback. In fact, let's just have a quick squint at the daily. Yeah, I mean, we've bounced up here. There's a bearish bar there. So a lot of times, if it gets close, there's a bit of uncertainty. Now, if you've bought down here and you're a swing trader, you've done really well there. Now, you're going to be looking for profits here. Some may hold and go a bit higher, but once we get so far up, like Max says, overbought territory, a lot of times it'll pull back. So if you're kind of aware of that, you know, there's going to be a lot of traders deciding maybe to take profits here, which is going to create this to have a bit of a pullback. So it's hard to say at the moment. So, but my guess is it's probably going to come down a little bit more before it goes back up. So we need to, I wish it wouldn't do that. So it is moving down. 2 legs up. We had no entry really there or there. There was nothing we could do. Let's just put that there a minute. Could go down into something a bit less steep. That's always a possibility. But if it is possible at all, it's going sideways, we could come back up here first. So there's quite a few possibilities. So there's not really much we could do in all fairness. Someone got in on a lower high. I can't see a lower high there. Not worth taking anyway. Anybody's bars look any different than mine, or are they more or less the same? Same, that'll do me. Why can I not highlight that? Bars are the same. Okay. Yeah, just being a bit careful here. I don't know whether it will come up or it is going sideways. What makes me a little bit cautious is a bunch of touches up here. Couple of touches there, 1, 2, 3 touches there, and that one as well, you may say. So there is a possibility we could go a little bit sideways before this goes down. That's indeed if it does go down. Yours the same as well, H. Yeah, excellent. Okay. But we've had a break. We've made 2 attempts to go lower, so it may not. You know, there's no guarantees these things. If it's ranging. If the overall is a range, sometimes it'll have a break, make an attempt at going lower and move up. So it's just not very clear at the moment. But the daily does say to me we're likely to have a pullback. So just keep an eye out. How you doing, Tim? Second entry short triple test. Yeah, my only concern here. We've had a break and we've had 2 attempts to push lower. So there's a possibility it may not go lower. It may move up. Now, if we've got an overall range or a range day, there is a possibility if it finds its feet here, it may make an attempt to come down. But, you know, I suppose if you've got people who think this is a good place to buy, it may end up being the low of the day. You just don't know, really. In which case, we've had a couple of attempts, and maybe, but there's so many variables. So if there's too many ifs and buts, you're best off really Just sitting tight until we get some sort of clarity. Let me just make that a bit darker. But going short here, I'm a bit cautious of it because there's a bunch of touches there which tells me it may be going sideways. There wasn't really anything there. You may have argued that one. But it didn't really go down that far. I certainly wouldn't have got my 3 points. It would have to get down here. So we'll see what happens when it gets up here. So just for now, I'm just going to shut my order down.
Order cancelled.
I did look at a short there on the CL. We've had 2 pushes up and 2 bearish bars. But I don't know whether there's going to be 2 legs down. This is going to push up or what. My gut was telling me this was going to go down, but it was a gut feeling. It wasn't a clear trade, really. You may have argued a triple test, but there, the main bodies need to be higher there before I'd consider going short. But my guess is after 2 pushes up and a little double top, this was likely to find its way a bit lower, and it has, but there's no setup there, so... So let's see what happens here. There may be a channel there with a small break. But I wouldn't take that just yet. It's not quite high enough for me. I'll tell you what else is on my mind as well. Something like that. Channel down. 2 attempts to push higher, maybe clear some of this liquidity. Possibly. It's too early to short that, and rightly so. Look at that, it's triggered and it's starting to move up. Where's that going? It does look like a channel with a break, but it looks, my gut feeling is when we bounced it, it looks like it's going sideways. So whether it is ranging temporarily and it's going to continue down, or whether it's made 2 attempts to go lower and it's going to push up and we're in a bigger overall range. There's so many variables. Oh, he didn't take that, did he? I think Thomas Wade took that lower high. I think he did. Did he get out of it? Now, he usually goes for between 2 and 3 points, depending on what that ATR is. So he'd have probably been okay there. He's marked it as a lower high. I don't think he took it. Oh, he did take it. I think. Yeah, there's just the fact that that bounced in 4 places for me told me this may range a little bit. I don't know. Sometimes you're used to seeing price and you kind of get a feel for what might happen. So Dan's got that as one complete chart. A little channel like mine with a break. Well, he's got that slightly high. It doesn't really matter to it. Doesn't really matter. You can kind of see what I was looking at. Leg up there with a break and a new high. He hasn't taken a trade up here. He didn't have a setup. He didn't take a lower high there. Thomas Wade did. He didn't. He's got a small channel like mine with a break and a new high. But I would get into this with a penguin style setup. We clearly got to move down 2 clear attempts. If we can push up to here somewhere and then get some rejection, I would like to clear these bits out the way. And if we got that measured move, or close that measured move, it would probably do that. But you don't know, it may just drop or it may not come down at all. There's always a possibility we could end up, you know, moving up in that kind of direction. But now we didn't, well, this is the lows of the day, so we didn't get anywhere near close to yesterday's lows, so there is a possibility it could come down a bit further. But if you look at the daily's telling me we're in, really, as somebody mentioned yesterday, Mac mentioned, we're in overbought territory. So now I'm going to get a short order rally because I like these type of setups. I want to push up a bit higher, ideally above here if I can. Or if we can, certainly, let's say there, or even there. I would like to get above there. I'd certainly like to get above there. Because if we don't get above there, we haven't got a full 2 legs. I would like the full 2 legs before I decided to go, that's screw the pooch, go on, get up there. Okay, that's a good sign. So I'm looking for some real rejection now. Clearly 2 legs up. If we can get above there and then get some rejection, that will be interesting. So we have broken above there. I would prefer just to tick above there. That will give us full 2 legs. In fact, let's do it the right way. It may not get that high. I would much prefer it. So if we can get there to that measured move, that would take out any little bit of liquidity there. I'm not worried about that. So I want it just to push up to that measured move and then start to drop. It depends. It depends. What I like is got a channel, a break and a new high. So if we can get 2 legs up and it shows me some rejection here, I may get into it or I may look for a lower high. Because this is very much like a penguin setup. Now, penguin sometimes takes it up here. Sometimes he waits for the push below that measured move. So it's really hard to tell, really. I need to wait for something that I just like the look of. Would I accept that? I'm glad it's broken above this. But at the moment, I'd rather wait for... I wouldn't want to take that as it is on its own merit. I would rather wait for a lower high. I'd prefer to push it up just a little bit higher. But it's very much a it's a perfect looking leg down and 2 legs up if it gets up to here, which would be a penguin style setup. It may not get that high. Right, Dan said he tried to take a second entry long as a screw it trade right here. So he's thinking the same thing as me. It didn't trigger anyway, so he's thinking the same thing as me. Yeah, try to take that second entry. Oh, a second entry long. Oh, he's on about there. Okay. Tell a lie. So it really depends what it looks like up here, but it is with a leg up, with a drop and another leg up, so... Someone's already in a trade here. Okay, so this is Thomas Wade's forum here. So Thomas Wade's marking 2 legs up as a measured leg. Someone else is in a trade short here, so I'm not the only one thinking about the 2 legs up. It would have to look good. That one I wouldn't want to take. There's still some liquidity up there, and we haven't made a full measured leg yet. If we can get a full measured leg and show some really strong rejection short, I may take it. Failing that, if we move down, I may take a lower high. We haven't made a new low from here. Sometimes we don't, but the way this is pushing up, this is not a bigger channel. This is 2 separate moves. It may not get up there. That was more important to break above there, which we did. That one was a kind of a Brucey bonus for those British guys here. But I would prefer just to hit that measured move and then find some rejection, and that would spark my interest. Just at the moment, because the ATR was a bit higher, generally, if it's under 3, I'll move to 2. So I'm just kind of leaving it there just for the moment. It depends how good the setup really. If it's very clear, you know, I may change it. So there is kind of a failure there, but it's just congested. I think there's a little bit of uncertainty what's going on here. Is this going to come down and break these lows? I don't think there's any type of a channel up there. There may be. I've got a couple of different ideas here, so. So, possible two smaller legs down. I still want to get up here and show strong rejection. Okay, so we're below the EMA, so there is two legs back. We didn't get the full measured move, but we did get three little taps here, so it does look like it's going to push down. So, doesn't look like a channel to me. That looks like two legs up, two legs back, two legs. So, you know, it'd have to be the right setup, of course. Russell, how you doing, bud? Didn't see you there. FSN, how you doing, mate? Didn't see you there either. Little Hammer, how you doing? Have I missed anybody else? Harmonass, I think it's a load of you, haven't we? Yeah. So we didn't quite get as high as I'd like. And we haven't had what I will call a strong move down. Do I still think we're going to come down here? I think it's more likely that we come down. Just because of what the daily is showing me. It's hard to say at the moment. Sam, how you doing, my friend?
Order cancelled.
So we've got the open here, which we're bouncing off. So 1, 2, 3. Would you consider that a triple test? I wouldn't just yet. But this to me doesn't look like there's a larger channel up. It's too broad. It's possible, but I think unlikely. Yeah, it seems flat. It doesn't seem like a channel. See, that's what I wanted, to push straight up to there and then show some strong rejection. I wanted to get above there. That was, I think, the line in the sand. If we got above there, I think that was the next one. It was just below that measured move. So if we can push up, let's just have a look on Bookmap. See if there's any sort of big orders around there. Yeah, there is at 50 right here. Yeah, I can see that there, right at 50. So it'd be interesting to see if we get some rejection here, and that right measured move is right there. So we'll see. Might not get up there, depends, I suppose. Ideally, that's where the bigger orders are probably going to be, but I don't know, do people get in early? It's hard to sell, isn't it? So also, there may be a channel there, which has had a break now in a new extreme. That's a possibility. Channel, 2 legs down, 2 pushes up, hit that measured move, and then maybe see some moving down. Leg reaches this measured move, leg, then we'll have second big leg out of 3 equal legs. Those measured moves are everywhere. Yeah, I'd still want to see rejection strongly below that EMA. So we got 2 legs up, 2 legs down, 2 legs up, 2 legs down, 2 legs up, hopefully. Just doesn't seem to be going up strongly. It's finding support around here. None of that, we got overnight lows around here and the open. So based on what the daily's shown me, it looks like we could have a strong pullback. Now, this is a fair move down. It's not huge, but you'd expect to have a correction before, you know, any kind of lower move down. I'm looking for strong rejection up here, and if we can get below that EMA with a lower high, that might be an option to go short. It may not. We may continue on up. But I'd like to at least see that measured move up, hit those orders up there, and just see what happens. So we're nicking that top now. Just want to go a fraction higher. Not only that, with a break, that technically would be a second entry short. Not that I would take a short here until I get the right signal. I'm not just going to sort of jump in random. I'd like to see strong rejection there, a lot of selling there. Okay, so we've broken above that. That's good. We've more or less hit that measured move now. We're at 50 now, so that's good news. Let's see what happens. So we've got a channel with a break, 2 pushes to a new high. I wouldn't even consider a short until we got down below that EMA. That's if we do. We may not. It's just not strong enough for me to think about going long at the moment. Okay, so the measured move has played out. You've got a channel with a break, 2 pushes and a new high. Let's see what happens here now. Yeah, see, I don't like that channel. If there is one possible, it's just not, I don't know. It's just something about it. Or not only that, that's a bear flag for starters. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's a continuation pattern, a bear flag type of a scenario. Down, bum, 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 followed by a drop. See what happens. So I'm thinking something along those lines. That 2 legs up from there would right be at the 50% and the midline. Well, it's kind of going to be at the middle, isn't it? Let's see. So we got very close to that midline. So we may have a channel there with an attempt to go lower, 2 legs up, followed by a move down. I don't know. I mean, this is all purely guesswork. It's just you can't go long up here anyway. If you're going to go long, it needs to be at least down here, possibly down here if you like that channel. I don't necessarily like it, but I'm looking for a new low from this until it pushes above there. I expect it to at least come down anyway in the meantime. But you just can't go long up here yet. It's just not showing me. It's moving up strongly. It's just a bit unclear at the moment, so we'll see what happens. Speedy, how you doing, mate? NQ is approaching. How you doing now? Overnight highs. So if the NQ comes down, the ES will follow, or vice versa. Yeah, this to me doesn't necessarily look like an uptrend. This looks like a few attempts to push higher. There's the 50% pullback level. If you look at the fib, if you use the fib tool, we got a break of this channel, a couple of attempts to go lower. This may be 2 attempts to push higher, followed by. I'm still expecting a possibility of a move down those lows. Not only that, we've got to move down. You know, it's a continuation pattern, so there is a possibility we get another leg down. I mean, this is all speculation, really. That you just can't go long up here at the moment. Is this looking like a strong uptrend? No, it's just weak. It looks like it's making attempts to push higher. So I still think this is got more chance. You know, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But you kind of, when you sit and watch price every day, and I've been watching this 4 or 5 hours a day for the last 4 years, you do get a kind of a feel for if something's looking strong. If this had been some kind of a range and we're at the bottoms, it wouldn't have seen this with such strong pullbacks. This is market trying to go higher, really, maybe, slowing momentum. This just doesn't look like a channel to me. It's too vague and it's too broad. So, the more you sit and watch these charts, the more you get a feel for what it's more likely to do. It doesn't mean you can trade it. I certainly would even consider going short at the moment. It would have to looking like it was pushing down strong. But this doesn't look like a channel, although I've got it marked as a channel. more light really, because it looks like a bearish flag. It's perfect like a bearish flag. And bearish flags, well, the one I've got tends to hit it 1, 2, 3, and then followed by that drop. So that's just what my gut feeling is telling me at the moment. Doesn't mean I would trade it. So we'll see. I like to try and say what I see and what I feel, because if I get it right, it just tells me I'm understanding the market. You know, what we're doing really here is just studying human behavior. How do human beings feel when price looks like this, or does certain things? See, someone else has got a possible channel from here. This looks like 2 legs to me, not a channel. It's just something I don't like about this as a channel. But as I say, I could be wrong. So we got very close that measured move now, and the 50% line, the 50% fib retracement to, and obviously the midline. Obviously depends on who you got. But I've got this right from the close of these bars. In fact, that's the close of the bars there. Depending on how you've got it. So that, yeah, they're kind of one and the same, aren't they? So we'll see what happens. Well, I could be completely wrong. You know, it's okay to try. You know, it's natural to figure out what you think it's doing. It's a different story when it comes to trading it. You need some certainty, and at the moment we haven't really got it. See what happens if we get another couple of ticks up. Okay, so we're very close there, aren't we? So let's see what happens now. Yeah, I should have something come up here, a little bleep reminder. It can upset this. Although it's classed as low impact, it surprisingly makes a difference. Got caught out when it once. I've only traded it on and off before, but I know Marco trades it at the moment, and a few others do, and sometimes this can just be naff, and it's okay to have another chart. I think I certainly wouldn't trade more than 2, but On vacations already, yeah. There's a reasonable amount of volume, really. It's not, we've certainly had it worse. We had that pre-market. We've had a lot less than that lately. Flying to Alaska in a few hours. Good on you, mate. Have a nice time, mate. Where you flying from, Kenny? Take it you're US, aren't you? Suppose you must be, really. From California. Okay, so yeah, that's a fair trip, isn't it? I'll tell you, I watch, what's his name? The Outdoor Boys YouTube channel. Okay, so that measured move is hit 50% pullback line level. Now let's see what happens here. So I'm thinking somewhere along those lines, back up to that midline, drop a little push up, trap some longs, and then down again. That's just speculation, but you never know, do you? Okay, excuse me just a second. I've got the munches. Possible second entry short on the oil chart. Trouble is, we've got the news coming out in 5 minutes, so I'm a bit too late. Whoa! Expect that. Okay, scrub all this and start afresh. 10 ticks, I think, bud. All right. 10 ticks. Works about $100 profit, 120 risk, something like that. Trouble is, we've got some news in 3.5 minutes, so. Well, let's get rid of that. Give me just a sec. Hey, Tony, how you doing, pal? Okay, so we got some more news now, so a few seconds. Yeah. Considering that's considered low impact news, doesn't look like a low impact movement, does it? Stop sweating. Best thing I did, mate, was buy one of those air conditioning units. It was about 220 quid. Put a pipe out the window, so I just got a piece of Perspex and just velcroed it in and cut a hole and just glued it in. I'll tell you what, don't make a difference. I was waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning shivering. It's that cool. It just don't make a difference. And we got pool in the garden as well. It's just one of those 12-foot insects, steel frame ones. They're about 100 quid. They're quite cheap. We have a decent sand filter pump, which goes on automatically. And I'll tell you what, the combination of the two does make your life better. I know I was looking at the news earlier. We're expecting, I think these weather experts think we could hit 41 degrees this year in the UK. And that's some serious temperature, isn't it? I think about 4 years ago, we had 38 degrees, I think, North London somewhere or somewhere around about there. And we jumped up about 4 degrees from our previous sort of all-time record, but they reckon we could hit 41 degrees. I mean, that is hot wherever you go in the world, really. I mean, that's Middle East hot, isn't it? Dubai type hot, that is. I may even decide not to go to Dubai, stay in the UK, forget weather like that. It's hot, that. We had, where I am, we had 30 degrees. I think we had like 31 day before yesterday. But, you know, as long as you keep inside and you keep yourself cool, drink plenty of fluid, it's not a major issue. Yeah, it makes a different heat in the UK, isn't it? Let's see how anybody else is doing. The Alpine's up a bit. He's pulled it back pretty good. Nutty trading again, is he? Does not like it. Tanya's trades has a good following, doesn't she? I didn't think ICT was that good. She seems to. She's got 1,500 people watching at the moment. I thought ICT was a bit of a gimmick, but maybe it isn't. Oh, he's had a bad throat, isn't he? Oh, yeah, okay, so that might be why. Yeah, I'm going to say I can't see him. Okay, so it does look like it's just kind of ranging at the moment. Tell you what, I don't know how for the life of me. By Money's got those accounts up to those levels. He seems to have been just going through one after another for years now, but look at them accounts. Doing really well. I don't know what's changed. Clearly PA accounts, otherwise their threshold wouldn't stop at 51 or 50, 150,100. Don't know how he's done that. Good luck to him. See if we're getting a rejection here. Yeah, I started watching him when I first started, and then he just went, I don't know, he just couldn't seem to trade to save his life, could he? He was just getting chopped up and crucified on a daily basis. So I don't know how he's managed to get there, but he's obviously done something right. I mean, you can get luck. You can have a bit of a lucky spell, but it wouldn't last that long. Okay, so we got a little micro with a break, 2 pushes to a new high, is a bearish bar. Let's see how this finishes. See how it reacts to there. I mean, if I'm unsure, it might be better off to wait for the lower high. Yeah, that's about blown that idea. Okay, oh, look at that, push up, big strong move down. Did you get below that EMA? Too strong bull up. Yeah, it's not really much you can do about this. There's no kind of ways in, really, is there? It's just kind of messy. It's really going up, but There is a lower high there, but I would much prefer a failure. You can get a failure. Is that a channel? Possibly. Kind of touches here, doesn't it? 2 legs up. Touching here, touching here, touching here. Doesn't look too bad. We're not far away, are we? Trouble is, when it gets close to it, you don't know whether people who ended up swinging from the bottom up are taking profits. We're literally on it, aren't we? Trouble is, we bought. I'd be thinking straight away, if this was a normal chart, I wouldn't want to be buying up here. You'd be expecting a couple of legs back. But we're not far. I mean, literally, we're just points, aren't we? Well, we're nothing really. 8, 10 points, 8, 9 points. So realistically, maybe a little bit more. From the top of today, from where we are now, we are 25 points, which is nothing really. Nothing at all. I hate that. So we're just up here somewhere. So channel with a break. Touch. Do I like that? It's hard to say really. Thomas Way's got that as a channel. Dan generally doesn't. Okay, so if we can get a failure here on this CL chart, I may have a go at there. I don't know whether we will. Trouble is, that could be like that, but then you would extend it, wouldn't you? So okay, let's see if we get a failure here. Trouble is, we're holding above the EMA at the moment, so I wouldn't want to go long here really. There may be something like that. I don't know. Just not sure at the moment. If this is valid, this may come down and test the lows. We didn't get to the lows of the day on oil. Kind of looks like a shoulder, head, shoulder. May come down a bit. It's hard to say really at the moment, but I'd like to see how it reacts to this. I'd like it to trigger above that bar and then see what happens. Let's just have a look at a larger chart. Okay, so that bullish bar is triggered. Let's see if we get any reaction there. So channel with a break looks like it's pushing up. It's just no entry really. Looking at a couple of little legs back and a second entry long maybe. There is like a little double bottom there, I suppose, but okay, so there's a possible failure there. Trouble is, it's a bit stacked up, isn't it? It's closed out the EMA. It's stacking up. It may come down. It's just stacking up. There's just too much uncertainty. Does look like it's going to tick through there, but I'd want to get out before the bottom. So there's only what, 5 ticks, 6 ticks maybe. You just don't know. It's a bit stacked up for me. A little bit sideways, which means it could continue a little bit sideways, and this is kind of vulnerable, I think. So see what happens. See if it can get below there and then get a lower high. It may be a better option, but there's just something about this that's just not getting me excited. Just frustrating when you see that. No entry, nothing there. We've got a doji there. You got to wait for that move up in a higher low, which we didn't get, which is frustrating, isn't it? It's a skill. He says that with a lot of conviction, doesn't he? It's a skill. I got to say, every time I'm thinking, nah, it can't be that hard. Every year and year go by, I'm thinking, God, how right is he? He does say it takes years, doesn't it? Doesn't he? So, 1 minute when you think you've got this job nailed, something else just comes and surprises you, doesn't it? So there is a failure there, but it's just a little bit choppy. So there's, I don't know, is it going to come down or is it going to shoot up? We could get a leg and a leg. Who knows? It's just choppy anyway. There's nothing you can really do here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I was watching last night an interview with a guy called, is it Michael Francine or Michael Francini? Ex mafia guy. Was kind of in the mafia around the kind of 70s and 80s. Kind of changed his life around. I've seen stuff with him before, actually. He's an interesting guy to listen to. Yeah, it does look like it's coming down this CL chart, but that's just not good enough, unfortunately. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 bars stacked up here. You just never know. That started to pull back. You don't know it's going to pop up there, clear this out. So when it's like that, it's just as kind of nice as it looks. Trouble is, it could come break below there and then push a bit higher to clear out some of this chop. These look like weak positions, and sometimes if they're weak entries, a lot of the times market will overlap and clean them out before it does anything more. As much as I think it's likely to do this, you've still got to wait for a really good quality entry. Otherwise, it's like pissing into the wind, excuse my French, but you don't know it's going to come back and hit you in the face, so to speak. I'm going to say trading, when things go wrong in trading, just reminds me of something I saw in social media a few weeks ago. I don't know about you US guys, but we've got these, you know, the hand dryers. We've got hand dryers in the UK. You'll have them as well. It's like a sort of a curve shape thing you put your hand in. And there was this clip, this guy. He looked like thick as 2 short planks, to be honest with you. He misjudged one for a urinal and peed in it, and it said it splashed. It's him splashed all in his face. It tickled me, made me chuckle a bit. That did. You could just imagine him sitting there peeing and just blowing up at him in the face. I don't know. People do. I mean, whether it was true or not, I don't know. But sometimes you hear these little tales, don't you? And they kind of make you. But you can just imagine some guy having a skin full of beer and walking in and mistaking a hand dryer for a urinal and just getting sprayed. Oh dear. And he was trying to make a claim. I think the only claim there is stupidity, I think, isn't it? So what is going on here? There's not much you can do here. We could be kind of ranging a wee bit. We look like we're kind of finding a kind of a floor and a ceiling. So who knows? I mean, we could certainly be pushing up. You know, we got this move up. This could be a correction. We may end up pushing up and hitting all-time highs. You just don't know, do you? You just don't know. I like to think, really, I suppose I'm like a cutter. Yeah, he is lucky, isn't he? You don't know sometimes whether price is just going to push up, Nick, though. It's a bit, I don't know, as traders, I suppose, straight away. I think when you trade the markets, you have trust issues. I think it kind of comes with the territory. You don't kind of trust anything, really, until someone, you know, it needs to walk like a duck and quack like a duck and look like a duck before you start to believe, don't you? So, you know, when we get that big move up on the daily and we're so close to all overnight highs, you just tend to think this, I can't get in now. It's too late. The move's gone. You've got to catch the pullback. So you're kind of naturally expecting a pullback, aren't you? Which makes me so suspect of looking for a long, you know, we got to bounce, whether we get a triple test here and this thing goes higher. You just don't know, do you? But we have had a bit of a bounce there and the same there, and we found what looks like maybe a little bit of a temporary ceiling. So 2 legs back along here. I'd have to wait for a higher low, I think. You just don't know, do you, what price is going to do? That's the trouble. If it was that easy, everyone would be doing it. We didn't make a new high there. We got a tick away. It doesn't mean it won't have another go, but I think you've certainly got to wait. There's not much you can do around here at the moment. It's kind of in the middle. It could do anything, really. My guess is I wouldn't want to go long here or long here. I'd be concerned about having a second leg down. So I'm glad I stayed out of a trade here. It may hold, but this looks a bit vulnerable to me. Now, would it have made 10 ticks? It's irrelevant, really. I don't think it would have done. Maybe just. It's just too risky. Stacked up like that, you just don't know what it's going to do. Oh, Taylor's in a trade here. He's got this as a bigger channel. I'm guessing he's got his profit up here. Go on, get up. He's got a bigger channel. Have a look. It's not frightened to have a go, Taylor. I'm just cautious of this when we've already, if that is a channel, we've already made it, well, got very close to a new high. Sometimes it'll trigger a few and then have a quick drop, but it does look like it's pushing up. Perhaps it's just me being paranoid. Certainly could be. Just makes me, after we've had that break and a push up, it just makes me cautious of going long here. He's got his profit right at the cross section there. A few people said they took it. Like a pullback here, I would. I think Taylor's out anyway. He took 10 ticks. I think sometimes you're better off to guarantee yourself 10 ticks rather than keep that risk going for 12 ticks. May work. Trouble is, if this is a channel, we've come off the bottom, we've pushed up, we haven't quite got to the top. So is it losing a little bit of momentum? I'm leaning towards this. This is more likely to have a pullback before it goes much higher, but who knows? You never know what these markets are going to do. Chunk of orders up here. Yeah, so I think he did the sensible thing there. Get out at 10 ticks instead of waiting for 12. It still may go, but this to me is just, this is kind of the third push up. We seem to be struggling to push up. So if there's not enough buyers in there, but this is still kind of bullish, I suppose buyers are more likely to be down here. Keeps pulling yeah, they tend to follow each other either or, don't they? Would like to see this have a decent pullback because we do seem to be finding some support here. Who knows? Okay, while it's figuring itself out, I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break, make a cup of tea, and I'll be back with you. 5 minutes. Okay, we had that bit of a move down. So let me put that back where I thought it originally was. Not really much you can do, is there? I don't think there's anything off the bottom there. Is this a bigger channel, or is it just a leg up and we're ranging a little? It's hard to say. I don't think we've seen a chart from Mac yet, I don't think. No, we haven't. Oh, yeah, we have. Tell a lie. Okay, so he's gone from there and there up to there. His chart is, so yeah, so he's got that as that. I don't think it matters anyway now. It's irrelevant. Trouble is, depending how you've got that, there's a small break there now. Some guys have got that there. Now that would be a small break to go long. I wouldn't want to go long there. If this is a break, I'd expect it to come down a little bit further. But I'm putting mine from there and there. That's where Max got his from, which means this wasn't the key entry point. So, well, that's if you look into that. So, yeah, I know Taylor and that. I've got that running tight up there. It doesn't fit for me. I mean, it's a tough one. Thomas Wade, he's got his run in there as well. Mac hasn't. If I put mine there like that, it cuts straight through that bar. It doesn't work for me. Not sure. I'm just going to kind of leave it there. So if that is a small break, I can't see that and then pushing straight up. If that's the case, we may have a slightly different channel there. So my gut feeling is this is probably a break, in which case we may come down to this level here, in which case bounce, bounce, bounce. I would have a go at a long off the bottom if we could get down here. You know about midline plays better here. If you put it there, it's hard to say really. They kind of both. If I put mine there like that, it looks kind of okay there. And there, I don't know, what do you know? The trouble is, there's such a lot of grey area, isn't there? It's not an exact science, is it? I know Mac had it from there and there, so I've kind of left it there. Now, obviously, Mac may adjust it. Playing it that way, this way, or tight to there. My way or the other way. To the range lows, yeah, that's all you can do at the moment. You can't really get any, well, there's nothing there really, but if this is a break, you'd expect it to sort of do this, wouldn't you? And after we bounce twice, if we've got a decent bounce here or a decent higher low, I'd have a go at that because, but the trouble is, it's so hard to say. I keep looking at the daily thinking, Matt mentioned it apparently yesterday, was so overbought. We're in that territory where it could absolutely take a real dump, couldn't it? And as we're making 3 attempts, you just don't know. If you've got traders getting into short positions up here, thinking this thing is due for a big pullback, you don't know whether we're getting up here, whether traders are going to add to the positions. You know what I mean? I mean, that's pure speculation, but, you know, just we've had this couple of maybe a double top or whatever. It looks like it's due for a pullback, so you just don't know. That's the trouble. All you can do is really spend time looking at the charts and kind of figure out what's going on. But, you know, obviously looking at the daily, it could have a really big pullback. And this is kind of that level where if it was going to happen, you kind of expect it. If it was going to happen, it would kind of happen. But you just don't know. It could spend the rest of the day doing like this and then rally and push up, or it could come back in an hour. It may be down here. You know, I just like to know the possibilities, and I think the likelihood of a decent pullback before we hit all-time highs, I think is, I think it's got more chance of happening than not. But we have got a lot of sell orders sat at 65 up here, so who knows? So leg and a leg, depending on how it finished, would take us down here. So there is a high low there. If that is a break, I couldn't bring myself to take a high low there. It may work. But if a tiny break like that with such a big move up, but there's always a possibility you could drag that out a little bit. You know, it fits. Touch, touch, touch. If we get a strong move and a push up, I'd be inclined to say that that's the channel. But I would probably go with that initially, which means I would expect this to fail. take out that bar, and get closer to the lows. But as we've said, it's not an exact science. I can't see such a small break and a strong move up, especially when we got liquidity like that here. We're clearly hitting a ceiling here, which we're struggling. So my gut feeling is this is going to come down, but I can't take a short at the moment because the overall is bullish, at least at the moment. But I can't see that trade working. But if we haven't had a break or whatever, then you don't want to be going short straight away, do you? So there's just too many variables, too much uncertainty. So now, if that's pushed up strong up here, my gut feeling would be that we're still in a channel up. Touch, 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 strong move up. I don't know. Who knows? You don't really know till the end of the day when you can go through it all and get some clarity. But I can't see such a small break then to push straight up. Just doesn't really happen. The bigger the channel up, the bigger the break. I mean, there may not even be a bigger channel. There's always that possibility we could have something like that. That doesn't look terrible. You know what I mean? It's who knows. You think so? I couldn't bring myself to take that. Part of the reason was we looked like we had a channel down. If we get such a small break, I wouldn't jump straight into a long. But that's just me. I just found I haven't had a lot of success with it. And if this is a range, you kind of diddle it in the middle. It's a tough one, isn't it? If we are ranging at the moment, we've had this break of this channel, whatever, we've had 1, 2, 3 pushes up. It could drop right down below all this. So I don't know. I just think it's a little bit unclear. Yeah, Dan didn't take it. Anybody else? You took the higher low. Yeah. I'm just a bit uncertain about channels. If it is a small break, the fact that it worked would tell me it's probably in the channel, in that bigger channel. It's hard to tell. Sharp pullback at first, yeah. Yeah, it does that sometimes. Yeah, when it comes that close, I suppose straight away you kind of think you're doomed. It's not a super clear day, really. This isn't super clear. There's a bunch of different variables. So when it's like that, I tend to be a bit suspicious of everything. Perhaps it's just me. I mean, Dan made a comment a little bit ago up here that it seems like it's losing momentum, and I kind of agreed, which is what I was looking for a trade down here. So I thought channel down with a break, trap a few longs and then drop. But you know, it's not an exact science, and you know, when we get in and out of these trades, and when we sort of adjust these trend channels and so on, it's kind of a work in progress. You know, you don't slap it in there and go, that's perfect, it's going to work every time. It's kind of very rarely that easy. There is variables here. The fact that we've pushed 3 times up there, you just don't know whether this thing's going to flush down. And maybe there's going to be buyers going, I'm staying out of this stuff. But, you know, I mean, at the moment, it's still got that kind of bullish feel to it. But the overall is a range day. I've still got that in my head that this thing could take an absolute dump. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, you never really know. If we knew, we'd all be making the right decisions. But it does look like it's losing a little bit of momentum. I'm still unsure. Is it this? In which case, this price rarely breaks out a tiny bit like that for such a decent sized channel up and push straight up. If it does that, it's usually, in my experience, because there's something larger. Now, when you look at it like that, it actually doesn't look that bad. But that looks reasonably valid. We've had a break, pushed up. We didn't quite make a new high, I don't think. We've had a second go. Is this a third go in it? I don't know. While there's doubts, I think the safest bet. Now, would I have taken that on a valuation? Quite lightly. But I wouldn't trade it. I think we either decide we like something and take it, or we're not sure, we'll leave it alone. And this, to me, just looks like it's struggling just a little. But sometimes when you think it's struggling, it just, we may come back in an hour. We might have pushed up another 20 points. You just, Yeah, there's no definitive answers in trading. There's educated guesswork from experience, but there are, lots of times where it's not super clear and you've just got to stay out of it. If we are ranging a little bit here, say, you may decide to take that. But, are we? It's just, while I'm uncertain, I just tend to want to stay out of it. I'd rather miss a trade and not guarantee to not lose anything than get it wrong. But I'm waffling a bit now. I'm just expecting a quick drop. Now, see, that may be working off there. I still don't want to go long. We've made 4 now attempts, and roughly we're getting to the same height. This thing for me has got to have a sharp pullback. It's just too risky getting in here. I'd like to see this have a good drop down to the bottom and clear out this and this before I even consider thinking about taking a trade long. I'm just expecting a big drop. I mean, not huge. It's always possible, but this needs to come down and flush this before there's enough interested buyers. Just in my opinion, we all have a feeling, don't we? Took it for 8 ticks. How much did it go for? I mean, it may hold on this line and may rock it up. So, what did it go for? So, you'd have got 2 points because it would have had to push through. As of yet, it hasn't, stopped that out yet. It may hold, but my gut feeling this is going to drop. Yeah, if I'd have taken that for 3 points, I'd have been panicking now while I'd have been thinking about getting out. And then all of a sudden it does that. Yeah, Dan just said EMA is flat, so I'd only take a long off support. The only support really is down here. You may consider this support, but if it gets below here, my gut feeling is it's going to drop. See, look at that. If you count that, that, and that, you may say it's bouncing nicely off there. All of a sudden, we'll have a strong move up, it trigger, and all of a sudden starts to pull back. This is just unclear. This is a little bit of chopping up and down for me. You really don't know where it's going to go or when it's going to turn. It's just, this is guesswork, I think, really. Tossing a coin up, down, up, down, up, down. Trouble is, if this is a range, taking a trade around here, it's kind of in the middle of this, so you just never quite know it's going to work. There is a lot of orders sat right up here. So your 12 ticks may have worked, but to be fair, I'm guessing you'd have rather take your 10 ticks than sit through all that, missing your stop by 3 or 4 ticks just to wait. Yeah, I mean, for the sake of 2 ticks, I think you're better off to guarantee 10 ticks or risk all that. I mean, you don't know it's going to do that, but when we've, pushed up so many times, I'd be like you. I'd want to get out for some, or 8 ticks rather. Yeah, you just don't know when it's going to decide, and for the sake of a few ticks, it's just not worth it, is it? Depends where you got in, really. So you'd have got 2.25 points there. You've usually almost always got to push through. But your stop would have been there. I mean, literally, you're about 3 ticks away from getting stopped out there. 1, 2 to 3 ticks. So as soon as it does that, you're thinking, we're coming down here. So you really never know. Yeah, I mean, the trouble is with trading, you never know until after it's happened. So you just kind of have to make the best choices with what knowledge you've got, and experience. As your experience and knowledge grow year after year, generally, you're going to make better decisions and calmer decisions. But, I mean, you can clearly see how many times this is clearly struggling to get up. Now, it'll either get up and rock it up, or it may push up and flip back, or it may come down. I'm saying about 4 or 5 different maybes there, so... So it'd be interesting to see. Oh, okay, we're up. Interesting to see if we get anything special from Apex at the end of this week. I know their current order. Okay, so we had a bunch of orders at 65, which we've hit, I think. Yeah, we have. We're about to, and we've got a bunch more at 270. So is this thing going to push higher? See, it's weird, isn't it? You see a bounce there, and you see a bounce there, right off what I would consider the key entry point. We've touched it on the wick there, and we've touched it there, so... my guess is that's not a small break. It rarely has such a small break and pushes straight up, so my experience is telling me that is a bigger channel. We're cutting too much of that off, to be fair, so... About to hit a chunk of orders there. I think we've hit some of them. Okay, let's see if we've cleared that area out. Let's see if we get a drop or this thing pushes up. Oh. Yeah, there's a few people talking about fading the breakout. At the moment, we're still moving up, so I wouldn't be thinking about taking a short here. Yeah, there's a stack of short orders up here. Some at 270, quite a bit at 270, from 266 onwards. So my gut feeling is this thing is going to slowly continue on higher, I think. Or it could just absolutely collapse. Who knows? Some days it's easy to read and you can predict it pretty well. I mean, that looks like a leg. It may be a correction. We may push up and hit all-time highs. But I couldn't tell you anymore. Oh, give me a sec. Sorry about that. I had a bad cashew nut. Oh, nothing worse than a bad nut. So if you've had a breaker there, 2 pushes to a new high, there was quite a few people talking about failing that. So if you've had your chart like that, 2 pushes to a new high, I just think it's too early. So if you had a done, you just got chopped up. I think there's a few people on Thomas Way's forum talking. Well, I think it was Thomas's or Dan's, was it? So we had a push up on the CL chart, a little bit of sideways and a failed breakout, which worked quite nicely. I just wasn't sure really. Hmm. A really strong move up there on that oil chart. I mean, look at that. It just took off. See if we get a lower high here. We've broken overnight highs. Looks like two legs up as well. We've got a channel there. Looks like a break. See if we can get a lower high here.
Order
See if we can get a
submitted.
lower high here.
Order canceled.
Took off, didn't it? For a lower high here. Which we're probably not going to get, typical. Now when it's pushed down there, touch my bottom of the channel and pushed up strong. Trouble is there could be a wider channel there, so I'm just going to be cautious. I like the fact that it's cleared out any liquidity there. It's very tempting. Trouble is there's no room to the highs now. Finally, someone's come around to my way of thinking. I don't see how you can deny that. It fits perfectly. Thomas Wade's the first I've seen do it, so let's see if the rest follow. So another reason I didn't take that, it's a little bit sideways, it's a bit choppy. Are we continuing up? Are we finding a ceiling? I don't know, but I don't want to get involved in this. Not only that, there's just no space to the top. It may work, but it's not for me. It's a 12-point risk, tick above, tick below, and you have got a point. You've got to push through, you've got to point to the high. It's just not worth it. Could be a shoulder, head, shoulder, and then down. Too many variables at the moment. Didn't get a lower high on the CL, which is a bit frustrating. I was hoping we would and ride that back to the EMA, but so is that going to get taken out? I wouldn't be feeling... I can't see how that's going to trigger that. Come all the way down and not push below it. It's easy liquidity. Yeah. It's just too risky, really, to take some of that. It kind of looks good. You see that big move up and you think, wow, and all of a sudden it triggers you. It's how it gets you. It's so easy to get suckered into these things. They just kind of tease you. It's clearly just chopping up and down there. If there is a little bit of range there, you're going long into the top of it. There's just... it's just not super clear, is it? So, hopefully... not many took that anyway. I can't see it. It's just too risky, I think. So now what's happening here? Is this the first break? I mean, there's always a possibility I'm wrong and this isn't it, but we just seem to be struggling. We've got above this. We seem to be struggling. I'm still expecting a decent size sweep down before it works out what the hell it wants to do. And not only that, we could get a really big drop. It's hard to say, really. We got a little bit of sideways there. This could be a fail breakout. It might push up. But same again, if that's a nice fitting channel, I can't see a small break like that and then it'll push up. And I know I say that a lot, but it's just a bit unclear now. Is this, is this going to push flush down and then make up its mind or what? Kind of looks like two legs down. There may be a small breakout there. There's just... I've been waiting for a flush down for a while because I just get that feeling it's struggling to go up. And if buyers want to push this market higher, I would have suggested there will be more buy orders. There'll be more people interested in buying below all this, really. But, I could be wrong. It's just kind of how I feel based on what I'm seeing. Who knows? I mean, it could be a little bit of sideways fell breakout. Possible. It hasn't triggered anyway, but I'm still expecting this flush down just to clear out these cobwebs. These cobwebs. Okay, that bar's triggered. See what happens. So it clears some support below, along there. We've pushed down below it and pushed up to it. So if that channel is there and that's a break to push us to a new high, we could be starting a possible downtrend. You never know, do you? Could be like that. In which case we've had a break, new high, and then this may slowly be working down. I don't know. That's the best I've got at the moment. Fits perfect, fits perfect, fits perfect, fits perfect. Just a bit risky to go long here just at the moment, eh? You're looking for a higher low, are you? I got no idea what's happening here. What I can tell you is we're really grinding up slowly, and whenever that happens, a lot of the time it will just drop. It kind of sucks in. What it feels to me, it kind of sucks in positions here, and all of a sudden, woof, clears out this, this, before it figures out what it wants to do. So there's two scenarios. That's right, and this is a small break, which from such a small break like that rarely just breaks and pushes up, in which case this may come down significantly more. Or I could have it wrong, and it's that, in which case we've had a break, two pushes to a new high, and this is coming down. Both scenarios tell me, in the short term, this is coming down. But I could be wrong. it's just a bit unclear, but sometimes when it's very slowly grinding up, often it'll just turn and just drop and clear all this out and a load of stops with it. So just at the moment, I'm really unsure what's going on. It's either that's right, or we've already had a break and a new extreme. Either scenario for me looks temporarily like it's going to come down below here, possibly have that flush down. I'm kind of expecting that. Just from sitting here day after day, when you start to see pictures and you see it really struggling, often it'll just do it and clean it out. But then sometimes when you sat here and expecting it, eventually it'll break out and continue on up. So this chopping up and down and unclear at the moment is just, it's a simple message just to sit and do nothing. Sit and count your millions. I wouldn't be counting for very long, put it that way. 5 minutes would do it, I think. Now drop. There's a lot of short orders at 65 right here. Right up here. I like what the new Ninja Trader's got. Half the time, if you wanted to get that exact, you would have to stretch them out a bit. But I love the fact when you get a line, it figure out exactly where it is. Come on, down we come. Come on, come down. them short orders have just been pulled. Not as yet, buddy. It's not been the easiest day, to be honest with you. I mean, this was kind of pre-market. It's just not a lot here, really. Didn't go long, just in case we had a couple of legs and this thing came down. Nothing here. Nothing anywhere up there. Nothing there. Nothing you can trade here. Then it's just sideways. So it's just been one of them days. I keep saying that, don't I? One of those days seems to go into one of those weeks, doesn't it? Mind you, like I say, all you need is one decent trade. In fact, I'll put this up to 2 contracts now. That ATR is low. All you need is one decent trade, 2 or 3 trades. If I can make $300 on a trade, you do that twice a week. It's a fair old chunk of change. So you don't need to, you don't need to do a ton of trades a day, as long as you can, what you get a good quality. Okay, so a couple of little legs up. See what happens here. There was some short orders here, but some of them have been pulled. But no, we get more and more days like this, I suppose. People keep talking about summer trading. I suppose a lot of traders will be taking their holds, won't they? So, I don't know. Maybe that's part of it. We are getting close to all-time highs as well. So I that's going to be a little, do I go long or do I wait for the pullback? So I suppose it makes sense, doesn't it? Do you really want a long this close to all-time highs? For us, doesn't really matter too much, does it? But if you're going for a bigger swing or a bigger move, better than usual. Let's have a look. I went for a period of having the NQ to the left of me, just as like an anchor chart, just to sort of give me an idea. Trouble is, sometimes if this didn't look great, I'd miss a trade on here, and the trade worked well on here, and then this followed, so I ended up getting rid of it. I've tried trading it a little. Oh yeah, that's just chop, chop, chop. I've tried trading it a little, but I find it moves a bit too quick for my liking. I'm a bit of a pussy when it comes to this sort of stuff, but I mean, that's a fair move up, isn't it? But we've had kind of a correction, but it's slowly going up, but the slower this grinds up, the more suspect I become, because you never quite know when it's going to flush. It is quite choppy, and that makes me nervous. I mean, obviously, we had a nice, it's kind of a nice move up, wasn't there? Maybe spike and channel, something like that, by the looks of things. A couple of legs up, 2 legs back. Did we have any trades here? Not really. Not that I can see. If you've got that fit in there, that trade there, high or low, bullish bar off here, you may take, and it worked. I mean, if this is worth taking, what I could probably do is maybe just trade a few micros just to kind of get more of a feel for it. But I don't know, to be honest with you. But then you may expand that up there. And that doesn't look too bad at all, does it? But the trouble is, we're away from the EMA till here, and it's a bit choppy. But there is that really strong bull bar there. It did take off for there, so that kind of how it works. And then we're up the top, we're above that EMA again. We don't get back to it to there. If you got in there, it didn't go very far before it dropped. And then we had 2 legs up. So is this moving up again, or is it more chop? It's just clear on a 40 range one. Oh, in fact, that's the 500 tick chart. Let's have a look. 40 range. I don't even have the 40. Let's have a look at the 50. Yeah, I got rid of my range bar chart. I got caught out a few times. That's the 40. So sorry, that's the 60. Let's just have a look at the 40. You say volume, didn't you? Yeah. Yeah, I noticed it. Yeah. Range, wasn't it? Sorry. So let's just make that 40. Have a look at that. There we go. Yeah, I mean, sometimes the range chart does look really nice. Other times it can seem to catch you out. I mean, this looks like a break to me with a push-up. Kind of the same here. Trouble is, it always makes me nervous when you get such a small break. But yeah, I've got to say, I mean, look at that. 1, 2, 3, triple test. How nice does that look at the time? Got a little channel down with the break, a little double bounce, high low there. Trouble is, when you know where it goes, you can't help but go, that looked okay, look at that, how nice it looked. But in real time, there's obviously that emotions there that that you're aware if you get your trade wrong, obviously, you know what I mean? So if there's uncertainty there, it does seem to be working up there nice, and that looked really nice. And sometimes you get some really nice looking setups, but I've just found lately I've got caught out a few times. So I talked to Dan about this a few weeks ago, and he said he had a mate who trades it, and he looked into it and didn't like it in the end. So, you know, I think as traders, still relatively inexperienced traders, we're constantly on the lookout for something to be a little bit better, to help a little bit more in the decision making. And I think after a while, you eventually come to the conclusion, stick with what you've been doing for the last 4 or 5 years. There's no magic bullet out there, you know what I mean? But I think it's human nature that someone says, oh, I trade this, I've done very well. You naturally ears prick up and you know, you kind of look into it. But it is just human nature, isn't it? It's just kind of how it works. It so annoys me when it does that. Load. ES was like my first wife, steady, reliable. So I'm waiting for the punchline there. Safe white lady girl next door, cute. NQ was like the second wife, hot as hell. Latina, strong personality. Didn't give a fuck about it. Yeah. You never get it all, do you? You never get it all. There's always issues. If something's too good to be true, it's usually because it is. It does take you a few years and a little bit of extra age to come to that conclusion, or a couple of marriages, if you look at it like that. So we've got a channel working up there, what looks like a little correction and a very, very slow grind up. It does look like it's going to push up to this high. It looks like, and that does as well, but it's still very choppy. So sometimes when you see something like that, it'll trigger you and do the complete opposite. And my experience is it'll do nothing until you get in. It's almost like the thing knows. So whether, you know, it looks like there's weak positions, and if an extra one gets triggered, the markets get sold or whatever, and the thing flushes down, and then institutionals buy down here. You hear all sorts of stories, don't you? In your time. What do you believe? Is that really how the markets work? Who really knows? It does look like a spike in channel. Yeah. Who knows? Who knows what happens? All we can really do is kind of do what kind of feels right to us based on, you know, what we learn from Mac. There's not a great deal else. You know, the trouble is with trading, there's so much of it revolves around just sitting and waiting. There is what looks like kind of a nice correction there. So if we can push up above the EMA and get a high low, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind considering that. Does look like a correction. I think it looks more like a correction than a channel. Is it wide enough? Tough one, isn't it? There's a little channel there. It just looks like 2 legs initially to me. So we got a channel down there with a break and a new low, 2 legs back. It does look like a second. I don't know. It does look like a correction. Sometimes these corrections work and work well, but we're kind of back in this possible range. So I got no idea at the moment. Okay, so you got another little bullish bar there, and that's triggered. Remember what I said a few minutes ago? A lot of the times it'll give you a few of these weak positions, trap a few of them, and then the thing will just rush down. So that looks to me like it's going to get stopped out. If that goes, that may go, and it may get below there, and we may have that big push down. So I don't know is the answer. You know, I have a good idea of what might happen in the short term, and that to me looked choppy. It had a wick. It looked risky. There we go. So there's obviously traders taking that, but it's weak, I think. And then all of a sudden it pushes down, hits that stop, maybe some of these, and it has that clear out. So I do get better at you know, identifying weak positions where, you know, inexperienced traders are likely to get triggered and then stopped. And then sometimes when you get a bunch of weak positions in a row, market often does that. It just pushes down and clears them out. How far it pushes down, who knows? But if this is a break from this channel, I can't see this breaking and then pushing straight up to a new high. It rarely happens. So at the moment, it's just choppy and unclear. But my gut feeling is this is going to come down a bit further before it goes up. So there is quite a nice looking correction here. But it may be a correction, but it may be a channel. I much prefer my corrections a little bit further apart like this. This is more like this. So there's a possibility there may be a channel there, in which case it may trigger you, touch this line and move down. But as we've pushed up, we've pushed down, we've pushed up, it makes sense that, you know, it is weaving up and down. They're not broad enough, those 2 legs, for me to consider going long. That's not to say it won't work, but at the moment, it's just the same again. It's just one of these days. You know, it's unclear. It could be a correction, in which case it moves up, but it may be a channel, in which case it may trap that bar and then push down some more. So, who in the hell knows? So I'm just sitting tight here. That's my take on it anyway. We'll see what happens when it triggers. It's triggered now. If it's a channel, my gut feeling, it's probably going to come down. If it is a correction, it may slowly work up. Are you going to stream tomorrow? Yes, I am. It's Thursday tomorrow, isn't it? And it... Ooh, sorry. Someone just walked over my grave. Yeah, it's the 3rd tomorrow, and then I believe market hours are normal, I think, tomorrow, and then obviously 4th of July. So whether traders are going to be finishing earlier tomorrow or not, who knows? I'll trade as normal, and then we'll see what the you know, price is doing. I don't like this very slow grind up, though. It does have a tendency to just drop, although I was expecting a drop a little bit sooner. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. The trouble is, unfortunately, as a trader, you have to sit through all this sideways crap to eventually get a setup. And then obviously when we see one, if we're not in complete disbelief and shock, we take it and we're done. But, you know, if I could get 2 quality setups a week, I could make plenty of money. So I think the trick is when it's like this, is to stay out of stuff. Because the tendency is to see trades like this and think bullish bar, bullish bar, bullish bar. 3rd time, sod it, let's go for it. What happens? Triggers you, stops you straight out. So when we get this, really, and we've done a chunk of the day, all this section's been choppy. This section's been choppy. You know, now we know what's happened. All of a sudden, that choppiness may make a bit more sense. But when you're in the middle of it, you just can't trade it. You know, it's coin tossing stuff. Unfortunately, there just hasn't been a lot of trades. Now, I know a couple of people took a higher low there. Signal bar wasn't fantastic. And if this is a channel, we could have had a second leg down to this. So I think that was dangerous, but I could be wrong. So you just have to kind of learn what you do and just try and make the best of it. We all have a slight different view of price, you know, based on who we are, based on emotions, based on what is your risk tolerance, whether you trade in a sim, you're much easier to jump into a trade, whether you're trading in a valuation, whether you're trading one PA, whether you trade your own money. There's so many different variables which make us make decisions at different times for different reasons. You know, if we were all emotionless and robots, we'd all be trading exactly the same way. But there are so many other parts to trading which can, you know, affect how we do things from trader to trader. I have take profit trader and my funny futures mail simulator. Yeah, I believe they're normal hours tomorrow. I'm pretty sure they would. I'm guessing markets are shut on the 4th of July. Sometimes they open up and close 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't know how much of a bigger holiday the 4th of July is. It's certainly one of the more known holidays from my point of view. Closes early. Yeah, it can do. I'm not 100% sure, but I will trade as normal tomorrow and we'll kind of see what happens. Tomorrow's early close. Yeah, sometimes as it's leading up, traders will do a full half a day and then, you know, they'll kind of knock it on the head. So, I think there'll be lots of traders kind of stuck in here. The fact that it's whipping up and down. My gut feeling is it's more likely to go lower before it does anything else. I'd like to see it have a good flush below that area there. Yeah, I don't mind half days. And I'm going to dig my fly rod out on Friday and go and do a bit of fly fishing, I think. See if I can treat myself to a nice day stood by a lake, not catching sod all. Which usually happens. So there is a possible correction there. It just wasn't quite broad enough for me to comfortably think about getting into a trade there. Not only that, that bullish bar did close a little bit below that EMA. But same again, this hasn't been particularly easy. Sometimes you can look at, sometimes I'll get a message and someone will say, oh, I traded the CL futures chart today. It was brilliant. And then I'll go and have a look and think, wow, loads of setups there. And then other days, it's a lot of this, a lot of the mess. Very wiki now, isn't it? So how long have we been going for? 3 hours. I traded from 1:30, so 4 hours I've done so. What time is it? 5:30. I might do another 15-20 minutes just to have a little look. Find out what happens. Yeah, so I'll be here as normal tomorrow. Chatting away, making you miserable. Taylor's just done a chart at that angle. I did try that a bit a while ago from here or something, but I still don't like it at the moment. It's possible, but I'm not too sure at the moment. It needs a little bit more price action. It's too choppy for a channel going up, a clear channel going up. It may grind up slowly, but all this chop is just dangerous, I think. Taylor's in a trade there up to the highs. All I see is chop there. Let me have a look. Looks like it's working. Yeah, I just couldn't bring myself to do anything there. It's just whipping up and down and wiki as shit. So God knows. See that bearish bar there, which triggered, not super bearish. It's pushed up and ticked above it. and now starting to come back. Sometimes it'll do that. It'll just pick off little bits of liquidity here or there. I don't trust that one bit. Even if there is a bigger channel up, it's too choppy, that is. It's too whippy and choppy. So I wish him luck. He's up here. His profit's up here. I wish him luck. He is an experienced trader, Taylor is, so perhaps he's reading it better than I am. It's just my look at this, it's just too whipping around. See what I mean? If you look at two different people here and two different charts, he's got that as pure chop. He's got that as a channel up, and that might be right. It just looks too choppy to me. So, but as I say, he's been doing this longer than me. So, and Taylor's another trader that if he sees a trade, he takes it. He doesn't mess around with emotions or feelings too much. He takes it. I tend to be a little bit more of a coward when it comes to that. Not like that, EMA's flat, taking that really right into that middle line. Sometimes it'll just work. Yeah, I mean, that, I don't know about you guys, but that to me is pure chop. If I was going to take a bar, I wouldn't take that one right to the middle line. I'd take something off the bottom. So, depends if you've got a channel like that. Maybe there is. It's just not something that would jump out at me just yet. Not only that, it's... No, I don't know. Sometimes things just work. Yeah, you just the thing is, even sometimes it doesn't matter what you do, it works out. But if I showed Mac a trade like that, I'm pretty sure he'd say to me, "What the hell are you doing going long right into the middle line, right in the middle of all this chop?" But what can you do? What can you do? Been a couple of months since I've been here. Nice to put a face to your name. Thank you, mate. I hope it's not too unpleasant for you. Perhaps this year, keep up. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. Yeah, Kevin, I recognise your name. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, it's been... I had a great 5 months. I didn't earn anything this month. I kind of knew that was going to happen. But, you know, sometimes you have little hiccups. But I'm aiming in the right direction now, which is all good. Perhaps there is a channel up there. I just think this is a bit too risky personally. If there was a channel, I'd want to push down below here and get something quite strong. That was a lot kind of stuck right in the middle of it all. But there you go. Not been an easy day today. 4 hours of patience. In fact, when I walk away on a day like this, and I've been sat here for 4.5 hours, and I haven't taken a trade, I'm kind of happy with that. Because really, it's our job to sit here patiently and wait for a good setup. And if you don't get one, you don't get one. With all the will in the world, markets won't just turn around and give you a trade. You know, you've got to do the time and effort to sit there for all this crap and wait for one. But unfortunately today, there's been nothing really that stood out. I'm sure Mac will find a few dozen, but the trouble is, it's easy to find stuff after the fact. For instance, a higher low there. At the time, there seemed to be a channel down there. We'd hit the top 3 times. You don't know now, is this a channel and is this a range? I suppose one factor that you may have chose, 2 legs back, we've kind of stalled here, but I don't know. For me, it's just not something that really interests me. It's just a bit too... Not only that, most traders that I was looking at then had that there, and that is such a small, minuscule break to push right up. That tells me that there's something bigger going on, and I move that to that. And then all of a sudden we bounced there, and then we came down and had a little bit of a stem, and then we had what looks like a better break. It's still not quite the move out that I was expecting for such a move up, but who knows? In another hour or two, this chart could look quite different. And I have a pull. Yeah, it's not quite the pull you're thinking. If you say somebody's got a pool at home, you think, oh, wealthy. No, this isn't. This is £100 little steel frame and PVC pop-up pool you get with the garden. Nothing quite as fancy as it sounds, but it's great for a dip. It's 1 metre deep. It's about 12 foot wide, but it cools you off. That's the main thing. Nothing I like there more on a Saturday night with music blaring, half a dozen semi-naked women in there with me. It's kind of like the perfect night. I wish it kind of was like that, but I'm not that lucky. Okay, so that kind of was a correction, I think, the way it's pushed up. Wild pool party. Bring a ball. It's not quite as glamorous as it sounds. Let's see if I can find a photo. Yeah, we used to have one of those little blow-up ones. That was it there one summer, me with my daughter. I think that was about 6 or 7 years ago. but we've gone up in the world a little bit. No, you trade what's it, bars, don't you? I was in bed last night flicking through my phone, and I was watching a couple of videos on those Renko bars. I got to say, they do look really easy to trade. They certainly eliminate chop, but is it with like most things in this business? Sometimes it looks too good to be true. I may have a play around with them one day, but I do look like they eliminate chop. So, I mean, if we've got like a strong move up here with chop here, but we could clearly see, a lot of times we know where it's going, but we can't find an entry. I might have to have a look at them a little bit more. I'm pretty sure I can get them free. I've got the lifetime license of this, so I'm pretty sure you can get them free, I think, with a Ninja Trader lifetime license. Yeah, that is starting to look like there may be something there. I don't looks terrible, does it? You need to have a strategy. Yeah, I've got one. If it's going up, I buy. It's coming down, I don't. Yeah, obviously you need some sort of strategy. I'm assuming you get a move up and a pullback is you know, a lot of people trade pullbacks. Obviously, prices going up. A little bit of a pullback. I'm going to say they do look a lot less stressful to look at, put it that way. But like anything, sometimes, you know, everything looks good, doesn't it? But when you actually get into the nitty gritty, not always that simple. I actually have another trader buddy, Marlon, who trades Renko. I'm pretty sure he started to look into that at one point. Not an easy day today, unfortunately. I haven't seen what I would consider a good quality setup all day. Yeah, I'm going to have a play around with them, actually. I may have a play around with them over the weekend. Just out of curiosity. Your chart stresses you. It stresses me. You're not on your own there. Yeah, I mean, when you look at a Renko chart, I suppose most people know what they look like. They certainly look a lot. Well, they look like you can't really fail, don't they? I do wonder, though, if you have, you know, two charts back to back, so you've got a Renko, which you may take your entries on, and then this, which kind of gives you your direction. The trouble is, my experience is, you know, I looked a little bit at Penguin, I've looked at the CL, I've looked at range bars, I've looked at a few other different things, and you kind of all come back to the conclusion. I think sometimes you're better off sticking with what you first learn. I mean, I've put 4 years into Pats, and I've looked at a bunch of other things, but I've continued to trade Pats right the way through. And I think sometimes when you've been doing this, 3, 4, 5 years, it's very easy to think that there is some sort of a magic solution out there when really there isn't. But I suppose it's the kind of it's man's search for the perfect life or more money or a better standard of living or this. I've always, throughout my whole life, I've never quite been contented, and I've always wanted something a bit more. I've always wanted my wife and daughter to have a nicer house or a nicer car or be able to go on holiday. So I've always kind of looked at ways of bettering myself and making a better living, and you know what I mean. But I think part of it is that drive and excitement and that motivation to keep searching. And I think I was reading something the other day about Trump. I think they said he'd gone bankrupt about 4 times. You go bankrupt in the UK, you're kind of seen as a failure. It's kind of like a badge of honour in the US. You know what I mean? Like I say, you don't turn into a professional runner without falling on your face a few hundred times. So for me, if people will fail at something and get back up, brush themselves off and continue on, those are the people, I've got time for, and the kind of people I want to be like. If someone ever says I can't do something, I'll move hell and high water to do it and prove them wrong. So I've got a lot of drive and determination and desire to do it, but I still have that thing where those emotions still affect me a little bit too much. They've got better over the years, and I do see an improvement, but for me, that's kind of the last piece of the puzzle. When I can get that and just follow, up until very recently, I've had when I've got made 5 or 10 accounts and they're at 2,000-3,000, I treat them very, very respectfully. But a lot of the times I'd pick up a new account and just try to get a bit lucky. Double up 4 or 5 contracts just to get a boost. It was a really bad habit I got into. So I'm really trying to stop that and just to treat every single PA with respect. If you want to take risks and go full out on an evaluation, that's one thing. But when you've passed it, however you've done it, and you pay the $140, and that then has potential to make you a significant amount of money, I think you've got to treat it really as real cash. And I'm just kind of working towards treating every single... another thing I used to do sometimes, I'd go, not sure about this. What I might do is just trade one account. Well, I've just admitted to myself that it's a riskier trade. And I think really what I'm trying to follow is I either think a trade's good enough to trade all my accounts or I leave it. Trading in a sense is not difficult. You have to sit there patiently, wait for a good setup, take it, commit and move on. The principle is simple. The instruction book is simple. Doing it consistently day after day is a lot more difficult. I believe if you continue to, and you've got the desire and determination to keep doing it, you'll automatically get better. It's impossible to do a job every day and not improve. And as I've said before, those emotions, they won't be the same every single day, month after month, year after year. They'll get less and less. But I think that's where most people go wrong. They get to that stage, think, I can't do any more, and they walk away. When sometimes, sometimes the best things in life are right at the end of your nose. It just takes a little bit of time to see them. So I'll never give up trading, or I'll die trying. It's something I want to do. I enjoy doing it. I love the challenge. I want to earn some good money. I want a better life for me and my wife and my daughter. But, I understand now I've been doing it long enough that it is harder than you think, and it does take that little bit longer. But I love that thrill of coming here every day and knowing that I'm not going to get beaten by it. I love that challenge. I want to earn good money. I want to work better hours. I want to have that freedom. I don't want to be ruled by someone else. I don't want to work my ass off or my fingers to the bone to line someone else's pockets. You know what I mean? I want a part of it myself. And most of all, I want to prove people wrong. Absolutely. At the right time, I'll start to trade my own money. I want to know that I'm doing everything by the book first. In other words, now I've had to learn to forgive myself and learn to accept the fact that trading's not about perfection. I know trading fast-moving markets, sometimes you're going to make mistakes, impulsive mistakes. It's a fact of life. Human beings aren't perfect. So expecting perfection, or if you don't get perfection, self-sabotage, is kind of like a human trait. But I believe you can get out of it. But you have to accept the fact that you're going to make mistakes. To not accept getting a new PA account, taking a stupid risk, I won't accept that, because you can get round that. That's a conscious decision to take a risk. And that's probably fed by a certain amount of greed and impatience. So I've accepted a certain amount of that, but I'm trying now to stop it and trying to treat every PA account with the respect it deserves. Because if you're taking risks and taking gamble, trying to get a boost, you're going to get away with it once or twice, and the rest of the time you're just going to be throwing good hard-earned money away. So I'm really focusing on not doing that. I've got 10 accounts at the moment. I haven't taken anything else. My plan for this month is I've got plenty of accounts to build up and make a living. My plan for this month is to have some self-control and not buy any more evaluations and PAs, and just focus on the process, and not focus on the money. And, you know, if you get the process right, the money is kind of a byproduct, although a good one. So I've got to now take it to the next level and stop the stupid risk-taking. But I do accept the fact that I'm going to make mistakes, and I'm going to take impulsive trades like we do. You can't make fast decisions and not make mistakes. It kind of comes with the territory. Little Hammer, how you doing, buddy? Desperate for money, it's worse. Yeah, I'm not desperate for money. You know, I have some savings in the bank. You know, and I've still got some money left that I've made this year, so we're okay. We're comfortable. I'm not by far desperate, you know, for money at all. We've got a nice bit of savings in the bank. Certain enough for 7 or 8 clear months of reasonable wage, and without having a worry. Need to accept this sometimes. Yeah, I mean, I've always been the type, when I was younger, I was a bit overweight when I was younger, and I'd do well on a diet and I'd lose a weight. But when I had a moment of weakness, I'd just go off the wagon and I'd go mad and start eating. For me, it was all about perfection or I give up. And there's 2 things I've had to really work on that I'm thinking of at the moment, and that's learning to forgive myself and learning that being a trader is not about being perfect. Human beings aren't perfect. They never have been and they never will. If you've got to make very fast decisions, you're not always going to get it right, but you have to accept it's okay to make a mistake. Okay, the trade may be a bit risky, but you deem it worth doing. You take it and accept the fact that, yeah, sometimes we take riskier trades. Sometimes they can be lucrative. You know, Mark's green trades as risky. So it's okay to take them. It doesn't mean you're breaking the rules and you're doing something bad. So you don't kind of have to self-sabotage and give yourself a hard time. You know, it's about trying to make the right decisions and accepting the fact that sometimes they're not always going to be right. You know, as we've heard a million times, some of the best traders in the world lose trades. It's a fact of life. The difference is they accept the fact that they're not perfect and they just move on. You know, trading isn't an exact science. It never has been, and it never will be. You'll never get it right all the time. There isn't a bit of software out there that gets it right all the time. Never going to happen. So it is a matter of just accepting the fact that you're a human being. Your skills are improving day by day. You will make less mistakes. You'll get a better record, and you'll do things right with experience. And that's the key. Mac don't lose. Yeah, my opinion is Mac doesn't talk about losing enough and making mistakes enough. You have to acknowledge the fact that losing is part of trading. I don't think I've ever heard Mac acknowledge the fact about losing. I don't know. Whether he's been trading these markets that long and he takes such a small piece of the market, he very rarely loses and assumes that's the way everyone is or going to be. And who knows, he may be right. I dare say a lot of the trades I've lost, if I'd have been scalping a point, the trade would have worked. But I don't believe only trading 1 to 2 contracts. As an inexperienced trader, it's going to be more detrimental to scalp a point. You're going to do yourself mental harm. You're going to torture yourself, I think. Now, when Mac started to teach this, 9 times out of 10, you could take a trade, tick above and below the signal bar, and you'd be around about 1.5 points. So going for a point, that's fine. Makes perfect sense. But what I found is when I started scalping for a point, I'd win 4 trades, feel really proud of myself, work my ass off. I'd lose 1 trade and I'd be in the red. And I'm just thinking, I'm never going to make money doing this. So if the signal bars are getting bigger and your risk is getting bigger, you have to go for bigger targets. It's a simple fact of life. It's simple economics. If you buy eggs for $1 a pack and sell them for $2 a pack, if the factory you buy them for puts their price up to $1.75, you can't keep selling for $2. You're going to lose money. So if your cost price as a trader, I'm buying a trade here, and if my cost price goes up, you have to put your profit up. Otherwise, you're going to crucify yourself. It's simple economics. Now, Mac may be that much of a good and experienced trader that it doesn't really matter to him, and I get it. He goes for runners. It works for him, so why change it? I get that argument as well. But even Mac came out maybe 6-9 months ago and said if you're only going for 1 or 2 contracts, you have to go for more points because the numbers don't work. So he has mentioned it. I'd love to, if anybody finds that video, let me know. I think it's important to look at that. But it's common sense that if your cost price goes up, you have to put your profit up. You have to put your selling price up. It just doesn't work otherwise. What's its target when the ATR was? Yeah, if you look at a lot of Mac's older videos, 8 times out of 10, he'll be risking 1.5 points or 1.75 points total. I mean, the ATR is particularly low today, but it's not unusual to risk 3 points, which is more than double. Well, which is probably double what Mac's risk used to be. Any businessman will tell you, if your cost goes up, you have to put your profit up, your sell price up. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. Why do you think the supermarkets put things up? Because, where they buy stuff from the factories and the suppliers, their prices goes up because they've got to send, the stock out in trucks, and the trucks' fuel price has gone up. So it kind of goes all the way down the line and ends, and the buck stops with the customer. That's why we're paying more. That's why inflation's been up. That's why we're paying more things. You have to put prices up. It's the way the world works. Otherwise, companies will go out of business. And it's the same with a trader. If you don't put your prices up, when your cost goes up, you'll go out of business, or you'll make it significantly harder for you to make money. Let's have a look at some of the oldest ones here. Let's just pick the first one I can see. Let me have a look at this. Let me just have a look at this trade here. So, Okay, so let me just look at that. That's a 2-point risk there. Now he's got is 2 ticks above his signal bar. That's a, let me have a look, 55.25. It's a 2-point risk that's, I'd say, a couple of ticks above there. You can see a tick there. That's definitely 2. So that will be a 1 3/4 point risk. So going for a point makes perfect sense. If you go for, I used to go for 2 points. If I'm risking a 3.5 points, that's okay. I'm okay with that. So let's have a look at the next. Not doing nothing at the moment anyway. Let's take this one. Okay, let's look at the risk here. Okay, so let's just pause that. So, risk 12. That's quite a large risk there. That's 2 3/4 points. That was 13 years ago. You won't see many trades like that. Let's have a look at this one. Was that the same or not? I don't think it was it? No. Okay, so that was the odd trade. I mean, that's his signal bar there to go long. But even with that extra big stop, 6, he's only risking 2.5 points. That was the one where it came back. He waited for it to go up, get into the trade. It came up, came back, and he got into it. But that, I'm assuming, channel break, he's taking the lower high. Well, you can shave 3/4 of a point off that. So you'd be talking 0 3/4, 0.5. Let's have another look. So, risk again there, 1.5. Okay, so he's in here, 51, 2, 3, 2 points. Look how far his stop is above there. 2. It's definitely 2 ticks. That will be a 0 3/4. Most trades are a 0 3/4 risk, tick above, tick below. I would say majority of the time, that's double. And things have changed. I don't know what he's doing there. Okay, so where's his risk going to be there? He hasn't moved. I don't know why he stops down here. He just hasn't moved it yet. So there's his entry. He's going long there, isn't it? So I don't know why he's entered down there. To go long doesn't make sense. But with his stop all the way down there, it's still only 2 points. I don't know why. Some of these trades are a little bit unusual, interesting just to kind of go and look. Let's just have a look at one more. I'll just... So look at this one. I don't know how he's selling that. That's just weird, isn't it? 7.5, 8.5, 9. Still only 2 points. I don't know what he's doing there. He's maybe trading the unusual place to drop a trade in there, you know. So I'd say it's fair to say the average risk was a 0 3/4. Most of the time, you're trading double that. If the ATR's 3, tick above, tick below, you're risking 3.5 points, which is more than double, which is about double. So going from 1 point to 2 point makes perfect sense. So sorry if I annoyed you there or whatever. If your cost price goes up, if it costs more to buy this trade, you will have to put your profits up. Otherwise, you're just going to make life difficult for yourself. Now, Mac's been doing it that long. He doesn't know any different. It works for him. He gets, I'm guessing, most of his profits off a runner. So it works for him. And if it works, I absolutely get the argument. Well, if it's not broken, why try and fix it? It is, yeah. I mean, some of those trades there, he got into on a wick. Strange, but, you know, I say the average risk is a 0.5 to 0 3/4. Let's call it a 0 3/4. I mean, the ATR's low at the moment. Your risk would be 2.5 points. So, you know, I mean, it's unusually low. This has been a lot higher than that lately. It wasn't long ago that there was an ATR at 10, and he was still saying it doesn't matter about the signal bar. Well, if you're as experienced as Mac, and you kind of know which entries are going to work, then it may not mean nothing to you. But for the likes of me and you, who haven't had, you know, those years of experience, it's not always that simple. So we're looking at something like that, aren't we? I think that doesn't look that bad, I don't think. Yeah, the trouble is when you're only going for a point, that runner is a tiny bit away from you. So let's say, for instance, you get a point, and you're out, say, let's say you're out there. You bring the stop to break even, 8 times out of 10, price comes back, triggers it. You kind of know where the stops are. Now, if you go for 2 points, you may go up, get a small pullback and go up again. Now, if you're going for 2 points, you're going to be getting out there. There's a lot less chance of price coming back and hitting your stop to break even there. Now, I go for 3 points, so price has got to get to there. So we may go up, have a small pullback and up. So when you put your price to break even, there's a lot less chance of your stop getting hit. So not only are you earning 3 times the profit, and I can afford to win 2 trades and lose 1, and still make more points than Max scalping for a point. Win 2, lose 1. I'd suggest my win rate is way better than that. But I could afford to do that. And not only that, with only scalping for a point, there's much more chance of your stop getting hit at break even for your runner. So not only you lose, you know, earning less money going for a point, you're missing out on maybe 50% of your runners. So for me, it's an absolute no-brainer to go for 3 points. If you look back at Mac's trades and you look back at Dan's trades and Marco's trades, at least 19, let's say 17, 18 times out of 20, it'll go for 3 points or more, as opposed to 1 point. You're making 3 times the amount of profit. It's an absolute no-brainer. One thing that never lies is the money. The maths never lies. Yeah, you've got to do a bit of homework. And yeah, you are going to lose the odd trades, but when you're making 3 times the profit every trade, I can afford to win 2, lose 1, and still earn more money than you working for a point, trading for a point. Now, if you're as experienced as Mac, that's fine. You can get away with it. But newer traders, you're going to get mentally crucified by the losses going for a point. Now, I'm not telling you to listen to me or this. This is just purely my opinion. And I've had this opinion over the last 4 years of trading Pats. And I've spoken to Dan about it and Marco about it and just in their opinion. And I remember saying to Dan, mate, I've gone through the numbers. If your last 50 trades, you'd have made way more money. And he went, oh, you know, I get what you're saying, but I find it hard to sit through 1 point. And then I found out later he's moved his profit up 50%, which makes perfect sense to me. You know, you can't just see it and do it. You have to experience it to make the right decisions. You know, but I just found that if I took, there was one particular time I won 4 trades in a row. I was so proud of myself, and then I lost one. It happened to be a big bar, and I ended up in the red. And I was thinking, how am I going to make this work? But you know, it's my opinion. I understand it's not everyone's opinion. I'm not having a pop at Mac as a person. I don't agree with certain things, you know, that he does, but as a guy. And as a genuine bloke trying to help, I think he's an absolute diamond. He charges such a small amount to help people, and that's more important to me than anything else. So don't ever think that I'm, you know, running him down. I'm not at all. Absolutely not. You know, it's just when you learn something, you can't come into this business and do it for 3 weeks and go, oh, I think he's doing that wrong. But when you've been doing it a while, you know, and you've had some experience, you do kind of form a way of doing things. Some people will religiously stick to a point. And respect to you. Some people go for more. You know, I know other people go for more than 3 points. But it's an individual process that you've got to go through and slowly, organically change your decision. You know what I mean? You know. Yeah, absolutely. He's been doing it that long. The trouble is, if you've been doing something for so long and you have a really nice standard of living, I understand the concern about changing it. Maybe you may have this sense that if you try and go for more, you may feel greedy. If it goes against you, it could affect you, you know, subconsciously. Who knows? But, you know, I've never got an issue with anybody who's been doing something and having success. As far as I'm concerned, if you've got success in this business, I respect you automatically because I know how hard it is. So I would never tell you you're doing the right thing or the wrong thing. He does what he does. It works for him. So full respect to it. But it's not something that I've found I feel comfortable with doing. And I didn't just come to that decision, you know, just out of the blue. I looked into it. I did my research. I worked out all the numbers, and the numbers don't lie. You've got to look back. You know, it trades. But if you make a business of this and you're successful, I respect you because I know how difficult it is. Sorry if I'm boring you. I know sometimes when we have these discussions about Mac, sometimes people get a little offended. Not so much lately. I think a lot of people kind of feel the same way. But as a guy trying to help people over the years, you're not going to get better. You're not going to make... You know, this business, this, you know, whether you have YouTube channel, you charge this, it's so rammed with fake people pretending they can do that and pretend they can do that and charging people the earth, making money out of inexperienced traders struggling. There's loads of people at it, and a lot of people will charge you X amount of thousands and they'll be found out they can't even do it themselves. That's why I'll never charge anything. Until you're a seasoned professional with years of experience and you've got a proven track record, I don't think you should charge people. Because in this business, there are plenty of people to help you and give you advice. And as far as I'm concerned, you pass it down the line. And that's the way I've looked at it. You know I have these affiliate links and that's helped me financially, but it's only because I know it doesn't cost you guys anything extra. You know, I know there are a few other streamers that charge. I know Joe charges. I know Wilson charges. That's their business. It's not something I do myself. But, you know, when you are struggling yourself, I'd feel like a fraud charging somebody. I would. If I was a multi-millionaire and I'd make a fortune out of trading, then I may have something of value. And I get people who charge. I absolutely do. You need some sort of guidance in this business. So if you are particularly good at something, I don't see a problem with charging, you know, people for it. But you need to be a proven trader. I mean, you look at people like Tom Hugard, you can watch him trade live. He didn't charge. I dare say he'll have some other system that you could probably hook up with. But he trades live on YouTube, doesn't charge people. So there are plenty of experienced traders out there who've got a nice living who will kind of actually, you know, absolutely pass on things. Two possible legs down. My only slight concern is if this is a channel, we are a bit off the bottom here. We've got a channel with a break, 2 attempts to push higher, a little bit of maybe a failure there, and it has come down for a couple of legs. That Mac just doesn't feel come. Absolutely. Absolutely. I understand the fact that if you've been making a decent living for 15, 20 years, I certainly wouldn't risk changing things. I know he's said in the past he trades 20 contracts. He tried to trade more, but he found out it affected his psychology. So I absolutely get it. You know, everyone's got limits and got comfort zones. And we've all got a place where that comfort zone will start to not feel right. So if you've been trading for 15 years consistently and made a lovely living, why change it? I absolutely agree. 20 accounts on the occasional. Yeah, absolutely. You know, why? I've always, you know, the comment, if it's not broke, why try and fix it? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'd never tell an experienced trader I thought he was wrong. I have my opinion, but based on the way I see things and price, not based on the way Mac does. He does what he does for him and it works. So, you know, I absolutely respect him for that. But, you know, we can look back on history because we got the fortune of looking back on trades and what market was like 5, 10, 15 years ago. You know, there was a lot less traders in the markets. Bars were a lot smaller. And you know, when price goes up, at some point you've got to say, you know, where do I do? You know, if you're buying eggs and you're paying £1 for them and selling for £2, if that pound turns into £1.20, £1.50, £1.75, at some point you've got to put your prices up or you're going to do yourself out of business. But there you go. I won't say any more. I have days where I don't shut up. This may be one of them. So, what is going on here? This kind of does look like a channel, although it's still very choppy. Optimize it, not sure. He works well in trading. Yeah, everybody's different, isn't? You know, everybody has a different. You know, there are some trades I look at that I think way too risky, but I see other traders jump into them. And it's also, I think, sometimes you go from being careless to overcautious. I think it's all part of the journey. You go from jumping into every trade you see and making a right balls up to maybe getting too strict and missing out. So it's you know, it's finding that nice balance of where everything kind of comes together. Your emotions start to die off a little bit because you've been doing it every day. Your skill level comes up and you kind of find a nice, you know, smooth path to walk on. You know, we've all read the book, Mark Douglas's book, and said when you get to that place, trading becomes relatively easy. You turn up, do your stuff, and you're done. And you accept the fact. But there's so much of the time failing when you're learning to trade. You do ask yourself the question, can I do it? Am I lucky? Am I ever going to be able to do it? And once you get that consistency, you start to get that little bit more self-belief. And you think, actually, I can do this, even with my mistakes and my quirks and, you know, the times I fail. But all in all, the numbers say I can make money doing this. And then when you get that self-belief, things start to run a little bit smoother. I can tell you it does, because I feel much better and much more relaxed trading now, because I kind of know I can do it. Although I still have my little ups and downs sometimes, but they are getting less and less. So I believe I'm out of the ditch and slowly working up, climbing up the side, so to speak. We had kind of two legs back there, but the bar wasn't particularly good, and you don't know whether we're going to come down a bit further. It's not been super easy today, is it? What time is it? Right, I think I'm done. I've been going nearly 5 hours now, so sorry if I've rabbited on a bit today. I do have my moments where I don't shut up. There you go. So I appreciate your company. I'll leave you guys to it. If you are carrying on trading, good luck. I hope you get a nice setup. Apart from that, I believe it's half day tomorrow, or certainly a short day, so I'll turn up to stream as normal and we'll just take it as it comes. We'll see what the markets are like. You too, Darryl. So have a great evening, folks. Stay safe, and we'll catch up again tomorrow. Bye for now.